This episode of Penn Point starts right now. This episode of Penn Point is brought to you by Audible.com. You know, I got this book that I've certainly talked about more than enough everywhere called God No, Signs You May Already Be an Atheist and Other Magical Tales. And the book was, probably by the time you watch this, is no longer, but was for a long time on the New York Times bestseller list. It did, at least of this, I'm going to find out if it's 6 weeks today, but at least 5 weeks, maybe 6, maybe 7, I don't know. And I've been going all around talking about it, going to bookstores and stuff. And I tend to be really flippant about atheism. I mean, Christopher Hitchens says that atheism has no saints and no martyrs. And people would raise their hands during the Q&A and talk about how brave I was to be an out-of-the-closet atheist. And I always point out that every time I've said more about atheism, I've just ended up making more money. And I have had, there were, after we did the Mother Teresa show on Bullshit, there were some serious death threats. And I did have, guards around my house. But that was just one particular crazy person, not having to do with Christianity, just crazy on his own, kind of an incompetent, crazy fuck. Mentally ill, just could have been any kind of crazy, didn't have to be Christian crazy, just happened to be Christian crazy. And, but for the most part, people have been nice and I've gotten a lot of praise and made a lot of money talking about my atheism. So I tend to take it for granted. And I was speaking in Cincinnati at a great bookstore there. It's a great bookstore. And I was up on the stairs. It's this weird, it's a groovy bookstore. You should go there, it's great. If you're in Cincinnati, you know the one I'm talking about. It's a big one. And there was this family, there was a girl, maybe 14, and there was a man, father and a mother. And they were right in the front when I was speaking. And the girl was 14, raised her hand and asked if there were going to be more episodes of Bullshit. That was her question. And the mom raised her hand. She was beautiful, that kind of sissy spake chick, coal miner's daughter, red hair type. The whole family was gorgeous. That kind of real American, kind of Appalachian look, I guess. I don't know. I liked him anyway. Kind of that Levon Helm at his prime stuff, the band. And the mother asked the question if is there more video of me than 18 seconds on YouTube, naked in 0G spinning around. So I answered those questions. And then at the end of the of my Q&A, I sit down to sign books and take pictures with people, which is standard, and talk to people also. And they were the first in line. And as the woman, the mother, did the talking, the father and the daughter didn't say much. And she was wearing a Richard Dawkins Big A t-shirt, the atheism symbol. That, not to be confused with Chris Angel's ripped off anarchy symbol. She's wearing this Dawkins shirt. And her daughter's wearing some sort of atheist shirt, I forget which one it was. And the mother is crying. And they said they traveled 3.5 miles. They drove 3.5 miles. So, draw a radius around Cincinnati, 3.5 mile drive. And she indicated her t-shirt and said that she couldn't wear this t-shirt in her hometown. And said that her daughter was the only atheist in the school and had been harassed about it a lot. And they said very kind things about me and my book and things I've said. And she was crying. And they asked, it was this awkward situation because I didn't want to cut her off, but I also didn't want her to just be standing there uncomfortable. I wanted to interact with her as long as she wanted to, as long as they wanted to. But I also didn't want to just leave her hanging there, you know. So one of the people from the store came over and said, you know, do you want a picture with Penn? And she said yes, and then she handed him the book to take the picture and held up the camera. So she's in this awkward position of, here, take my picture. She's handing him the book, holding up the camera to pose with it. She didn't have clear which was the book and which was the camera. And the gentleman who was wonderful at the bookstore said, you're handing me the camera, not handing me the book, not the camera. Hand me the book, not the camera. So that several times. Keeps doing this. And they stood there. They finally took a picture with me. And they were wonderful and very polite and very kind and gave me so much more credit than I deserve. I thought about all those people that asked me about, you know, or compliment me on my bravery and being out of the closet as an atheist. I think about my job, you know, the disco people, the Discovery people, the people at the at Showtime, the people at the Rio, the people at Rev 3, people at Simon & Schuster, all the people that employ me, treat me wonderfully and have never reined in my atheism. And, you know, my school where my children go, the school here in Vegas, the fancy-ass private school with uniforms and stuff, the big cheese there, he says nothing but kind things about things I say on TV in my book and so on, and treats my children wonderfully. So do the teachers. And I just think about all the time I kind of go, yeah, well, you know, saying atheism, it's really easy. It's really easy to say you're an atheist. No big deal, no big deal. It is a big deal. And all the credit that people want to give me, they should give to this family. They're going to be in Cincinnati, who just seemed like the three of them were working so hard and so intently just to tell the truth as they saw it. And we're having such a hard time. And another friend of mine, Joe, who's a friend of mine on Google+, who writes a lot of stuff on my Twitter, was talking about his son being threatened at school for being an atheist. Not threatened with you're going to go to hell, but threatened with I'm going to kill you. I don't know. I don't have a snappy punchline or anything. It's just, it's so easy for me. It's so fucking easy for me. And I make money doing this, and I shoot my mouth off, and I talk about how great the U.S. is, that we have this idea of marketplace of ideas, and I give all this credit to Christians that they deserve. But man, that family in Cincinnati is going to stay with me in my heart for a long time. And if you happen to watch this Penn Point, I don't want to give too much information, I don't want to embarrass you, but you know, the three of you, you're heroes. I love you. Audible has over 100,000 titles to choose from, to be downloaded to your iPod MP3 player and played back anywhere, anytime. Choose from books in every genre: science fiction, thrillers, drama, comedy, business, history, and more. Go to audiblepodcast.com/PennPoint, PENNPOINT, to get a free Audible book download of your choice when you sign up today. Again, go to audiblepodcast.com/PennPoint for your free audiobook. And you know, one of the audiobooks you can get there is my book, Penn Jillette, God Knows Signs You May Already Be an Atheist, and Other Magical Tales. Go get it free from audiblepodcast.com/PennPoint.